the ones of us who were the most liberation-minded had the hardest time applying that liberation to our parenting approach. In other words, even though we wanted to be free, we were still using really oppressive tools to guide our parenting. Whether you're a parent or not, you have parenting experience. You're a former child. And for many of us, the relationships that we had with our parents or other adults in our lives really shaped our perspective on parenting. We know the type of parents that we want to be, whether it's eventual or we're in the throes of parenting right now. You are a liberation-minded person, and you want that liberation for the entire world, including children. I talk to other parents about this sort of thing often. Recently, a group of parents in Atlanta and I were talking about this. The conversation was about woke people being afraid to set their children free. The conversation happened during a meetup among a group of Atlanta-based people who are creating this learning space with a focus on self-directed education where young people can really dive into the things that they're interested in, being supported by adults, not having deadlines or predefined curricula determined for them. So we talked about this model, this approach to providing the best and broadest educational net of options for the children who tended to not have that, Black and brown children in particular. And one of the women in the organizing group brought up a point that so many of us connected with. She said that in her experience, the ones of us who were the most liberation-minded had the hardest time applying that liberation to our parenting approach. In other words, even though we wanted to be free, we were still using really oppressive tools to guide our parenting. Through our own life experiences, breakups, death, illness, shifts in relationship, we start to see things differently. We start to get clarity about how we want to show up in the world and how we are participating in our own oppression. So we start waking up. We start seeing shit more clearly, and we realize what oppression looks like, not in the broad, literal, more easily identifiable sense, like looking at slavery, for example. That's obvious oppression. Or even aspects of sexism, the obvious oppression in the workplace, in the home. Those are really easy to see. But we start to see how oppression shows up in other ways, and we start to see how we participate in our own oppression through the way we parent. So we commit to raising free people and to continually freeing ourselves from all the things that caught us, right? But we still struggle with our own internalized, normalized ideas of what is safe parenting, what is responsible parenting. And we fall back on practices out of habit. Shit that's not even connected to how we actually feel. It's not even connected to the relationships that we want to nurture with our children. On top of that, we are not immune to the barrage of feelings that come with navigating adulthood ourselves. Truth is, we're all still learning how to take care of ourselves amid the weight of all sorts of oppression and submission, no matter who we are, but particularly in raising people of color. As parents, we want to raise people who think for themselves and who feel confident leading themselves. All the shortcomings that you and I see in ourselves, we want to resolve in our children. We see it as our job to make sure that our children grow up to become more than us, more confident, more knowledgeable, happier, healthier, richer. We as adults, as parents, as people are unlearning things all the time. We ourselves are learning how to think for ourselves more, how to question things, how to live on our own terms.